What's going on, Fire Nation? It's your boy Rico, along with my little big cousin G Baby and our boy Raul, the zookeeper. And we are the Friendly Fire Podcast, the hottest podcast on either side of the Mississippi. It's been so long, I don't even know what episode we on. I think it's 78. What number we on, G Baby?
I must say 78.
Okay, 78. That's
yeah,
what we're
gonna go with.
Count
myself.
We in lost count. It's been a while. It has been about a month. We've had jobs switching up, people got sick, and just stuff kept pushing it back further and further. But the boys are back. The fat boys can break up, but not us. So we here. How's everybody doing? Let's just go with how's y'all last month been? Let's do a wellness check. How's everything going, y'all?
Yeah, Brazil, you can hit it first.
It's just been work, a lot of work, and I don't know where that money ends up because it's not in my bank account.
Yeah, no, that gross income is
that gross income will smack you in the face, just like, you thought you had me.
That's a fact. Them taxes, I picked up shifts, and then I looked at my check, and it was smaller than the previous one. I was like, huh? The math ain't math.
That's not how that's supposed to. You worked more. We took more.
Like, you working hard out here, huh?
We are too
hard work tax. Give me Calm down, G. Don't play your part.
Work your 40 hours and go sit down somewhere.
No, like the magic number for like OT seems to be like 12. Because before they get to taxing it like real heavy. But
they let you work a shift and a half. I'm like, all right,
chill out.
How's it been escorting some of the world's finest, richest celebrities through the airport?
I've only met a couple. It's not really too crazy, but I did meet, Green Bay's quarterback.
Taking pictures.
That's a fact. I felt bad because then the next lady, I was like, when I met the new quarterback for the Packers, Jordan Love, I checked him in. The man's I took a picture, super nice, and then it was a lady after him. She's like, like, who was that? And I told her, and she's like, oh, okay, well, like, here's my problem, because I was in the line with people who have like issues and I have to resolve them.
Okay, and that's cool.
Like, no, not even that. I was like, I pray to God, because she already saw me take a picture of this dude, and he left happy because obviously I was able to help him. And I was like, I hope I could help this lady, because like there's some issues we can't resolve.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, tough nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I was like, please let me be able to help her, else she's gonna be like, because it was in the Premier Access line, like the rich people. So I was like, if I can't help her, she's definitely gonna be on some. Oh, will you help him because he's famous? Blah, blah, blah.
If he wasn't too busy helping out Lamar Jackson over there, you would be able to do your job properly.
No, he wouldn't help Lamar.
I would. I'd be like, you got to catch the next flight. You missed your flight already.
Oh man,
yes, it's been smooth.
G Baby, talk to me. How's life as a scholar been?
It's been tough. It hasn't. I feel like going back now is like, I'm a little more mature. I know what I gotta do in the classroom, so I'm not like bullshitting around. It's decent. It kind of fit, being a student worker. It's kind of, it's a little much to handle, but it pays itself off.
They still got you doing them Batman shifts?
They trying to, but I'd be like, nah, I got class tonight. Gotta get my way out of them.
Garrick, it's a Saturday, okay?
But everything else been pretty cool, pretty chill. Just planning a trip. Actually going out of town next week.
Ooh-wee.
So that's a nice little East Coast thing.
That's dope, bro. Enjoy that. I'm happy for you finishing up your semester strong. Zoo, I'm happy for you meeting some of the world's finest and, curing all of their international needs.
Right.
But yeah, for me, it's been a lot of, I've had a lot going on in like different times. I'm back job hunting. I've had a lot of time to do creative stuff when we weren't trying to get our schedules together. I actually was just recently, I was in a rap competition in the city of the MC Olympics. So the way that whole thing kind of came about was crazy. I had been going to this workshop on Saturdays, kind of just working on songwriting and putting stuff together. And we were like working on like a little EP. And the guy who runs that was hosting it, and he was like, "Hey, bro, I think you should do it." I was like, "Okay, just send me the information. I'll see what happens." So I submit my name. I get picked. I'm like, "Okay, well, this is really happening now." So
spaghetti real quick.
yeah, literally, I'm in the mirror just going crazy. So that whole experience was dope. We had it at the that Green Street gym that overlooks the city, where the whole with all the windows, you could just you see the Chicago skyline. So that was a fun experience. Got to connect with a lot of good people, a lot of dope people. It was 4 rounds. They did. It was like your best 16 to either beat or acapella. So I go against this guy. He's like wordsmith central, lyrical miracle, like from the 90s. Like that was his lane. So I was like, oh shoot, like I didn't. He went first. I lucked out. Every single person went first. Like, and then I was like, you want to go? He's like, yeah, I got it. I'm like, bet. So he go, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm hearing the beat. I'm like, dang, dog, I ain't trying to tell the DJ, hey, yo, now turn that off. I can't do it to us. So I'm like, all right, time to rewrite this verse in my head to make it fit. Do that. Win the first round. Second round was a compliment battle. That was fun because it was just, it was something lighthearted. It's supposed to be like to help connect the city. So that was fun. I won that one. The third one, bro.
They Papa Doctor.
Hey, bro, look. Third round. So it was 4 of us left. It was me, my homie Third, this guy I've been working with on Saturdays. He goes by Sam the Sentient, and this girl MJ. Sam and MJ were on the same team together. Me and Third, the whole reason I'm even like connected with the workshop, and so it was like kind of like a cool little full circle moment. So the host goes, all right, so we got our teams. We're gonna take 10 words from the crowd, just split down the middle. Y'all got the crowd on the left. Y'all got the crowd on the right, yada, yada, yada. We're going to give y'all 10 minutes to pick a beat and write y'all verses using all 10 words like together. So I'm like, all right, well, here we go. So they going through, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at Third. I'm like, bro, they about to give us some of the most bonkers words imaginable. I'm already knowing it. Shorty.
MTI words.
Shorty, hold on. These are the words.
M&M words.
These are the words that we got. We got phallus, dysentery, party, pistachio, verbatim, cerulean, which I just learned was a color. That's just like a blue. Radicchio, I don't remember what that it means at all.
That was it. Hogwarts.
Juice. we got juice, floss, and fatigue. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking like I looked at Third. Now Third teaches English for like a day job. Like so he knows he's a wordsmith. So I'm like, hey, you want these words? He was like, I got you. Don't worry about it. To this day, I think it was because some of the people we beat was on that side. So they was on some, oh, well, shoot, he ain't getting further than me. Them words we got. And the judges told us afterwards, they was like, yeah, bro, we thought y'all was about to lose. Like, we was like, there's no way that y'all gonna figure this out. And we won it. Then me and Third went head to head. We picked our songs. We had to submit a song and then perform it. And we went head to head with that. And they deliberated for a minute. And they ended up picking Third, which was fine. I was like, cool. And I ended up winning more or less like a mentorship with this guy who's like a producer within the city, some studio time and all of that. So it's been a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun. Connecting with different artists and learning more about myself and like what I want to apply like my sounds to when it's my turn for music. So that's been a blessing. And then on top of that, I've been babysitting this little monster, my nephew, my brother-in-law. He's working like weird hours, like early in the morning. He needs somebody to watch him when it's his turn to watch the kid. I'm like, all right, I got you. It's fine. I'm getting paid, but I got you. Don't worry about it. This man here, look, bro. 1 year old, gets into everything. Just like, why are you into the cabinets? Why is your children's book in the bathtub? Like, what are we doing?
It's a whole new world for him.
You know me and B was talking. I'm like, bro, I got to child-proof my home, and I don't have a child. Like, I wasn't mentally prepared for like everything he gets into, bro.
They get into some shit, like,
bro.
Like, I can't even fathom how anybody would try to do that. But here you go.
Look, bro. I'm sitting on the couch. I am sitting on the couch one day. I'm watching TV. And he has a tendency, he'll just walk up and down the hallway. He usually doesn't go where it's too dark because he just don't. So I'm thinking he gonna walk probably the furthest to our bedroom door. All the doors are closed for just safety reasons. I'm thinking he gonna walk back.
I found this on the web.
Okay, Siri, be quiet. I'm sitting. All of a sudden, I hear like a rustling. Okay, what's going on? I stand up. He's in the dog food bowl, bro. Just throw him out. I'm just I'm looking like, why? What are you doing? like for what reason? Just today, a cup that I thought was basically unbreakable. He was like, no, y'all need to go back to the store and get y'all money back. I handed it to him. I handed it to him. He looked at it for 2 seconds and then just was like this. And I hear a crack. Just apple juice all over the floor. My lady, she works from home, so she was sleeping because I get up early to get him. I was like, yeah, you're not sleeping right now. I threw him in the bedroom, closed the door, and just was mopping. I'm like, there's literally no way you just chose to cause this much havoc. It's not even 12 o'clock yet. I was like, I'm like, where your daddy at? This is, but I love it. It's a learning process. It's I see why so many aunts and uncles be like, yeah, this is birth control for me. Because God, man, he just he doesn't stop. And I think he's literally growing in front of my eyes because stuff that I thought was out of his reach is no longer out of his reach. He's pulling just stuff off of what I'm thinking is a top shelf for him. He's like, no, I got it. And he's not doing it to examine it. He just grabs it and lets it just drop to the floor.
Oh my God. Does your brother-in-law let you whoop him?
I hit his hand every now and then. He listens to my. Stop him. So shut up. No, it was a few times. So to tire him out, sometimes so he can take a nap, I will occasionally just slam him on the couch, and he just eventually he's like, I got one more in me. I could do this all day. He fights sleep like a heavyweight champ, bro. I've never seen somebody refuse to sleep so badly. And when it hit him, he's just out. But man, I be tiptoeing in my own house. I be talking in subtitles. I be trying to do as little as possible to wake that boy up because the more he sleeps, the more peaceful it is. I don't sleep till he sleep at this point. So, but that's been dope. That's been a learning experience. Just to know what I do and don't want for my kids, and it's y'all going on a strict sleeping schedule, man. Right. 7:30, lights out. I'm not dealing with it. But it's been cool, man. It's been cool. But to the audience, this has been a long month for us specifically. We've been trying to connect, but we are back. We are trying to get as continuous and consistent as possible. The boys are back. We have a lighthearted episode, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy. G baby, you got the docket written or?
No, I'm just going off the phone.
Okay, what we want to discuss first?
We'll kick it off with the questions of the day.
All right, Zoom. Matter of fact, you kick it off with the question. You ain't had a question of the day in a minute. And you hit the. By the way, I do have a question of the day. Let's get it, my boy. What do we have on the movie tip from Zoo? What do we got?
So mine, I've been watching more movies than I usually do. I'm more of like I said before on this, I'm more of a YouTube person. Mm-hmm. Just watch short little clips. Maybe if I watch TV, it's the 30-minute shows, not really big movies. Because I get distracted easy, especially if I have my phone in my hand. The time I watch movies when my phone's charging, so I'm not touching it. So there's been a couple movies that I've been watching. Some of them are in Spanish, some are in English, etc., etc. But they've been these really artsy movies, where
indie film ones or whatever.
Yeah, indie film type, black and white, even though it was filmed last year.
Oh,
that type of movie.
The noir feeling.
Yeah. So my question is, a couple of these movies, not all of them, but a couple of them, they had those open-ended movies where it's open-ended endings where it's up to your interpretation, where it's a middle of a scene and you think the movie still has 20 more minutes in it, but it ends
credits.
Yeah, and you're like,
cut
wait,
to
what
black.
the And it's like, or like it ends on a freeze frame, even though it's not, and it's like, okay, what are we doing
Like,
next?
they haven't solved anything yet. Like,
Yeah. So my question was basically, what's your opinion on that? Because like personally, I like when my movie has a nice little bow on it. I want the writer, creator, director to tell me exactly what I'm supposed to feel.
Yeah.
Exactly like
He
what
said,
the ending
I'm not
is.
here to think, bro.
Right. I'm here to
Yeah,
enjoy.
no,
This is why I watch movies. And
give
then
me
now you got
closure.
me contemplating for like the next 2-3 hours, the next couple of days. Like, okay, what could have happened after this? What could have happened after that?
Mhm.
What was like the end result?
Yeah.
Because one of them that I watched, it was about this. So he's Mexican. He's part of a like a mini gang. They're like 16, I think,
hmm
but it's not like a full like gang or cartel in Mexico or whatever. He ends up getting up in that. So his mom sends him to the U.S. and he's living in New York, I think now. He speaks no English, whatever. He like ends up working because they sent him with like not family members, but with like some people like some other family members know, and they're like
hmm
construction workers, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. And he gets into a fight with them. He ends up living like in the top because it's New York, so ends up living like on a roof uh from like this one job that he did.
hmm
And then the whole love story starts coming out. It's an Asian chick. She
Oh,
doesn't obviously speak Spanish, anything like that. And then like they like befriend each other, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, things go on. And then like towards I don't know if you guys are gonna watch it. Probably not. But if you guys
go ahead,
do,
spoilers.
but like towards the end, like the ending is like, okay, nothing was really resolved. This dude's life is still kind of shit. And then one out, but there was like, so I won't really say this spoiler in case you want to watch it, because the majority of the movie, half of it is in English, half in Spanish, because like I say, he does end up coming over here. But on Netflix, it's a Netflix original film. Netflix also did a follow-up with I don't know if you know the director Guillermo del Toro, the Mexican.
Yeah.
And then like another big Mexican director. They didn't direct this movie, but they watched it and they give like a little 15-minute of their opinions on the movie, because this movie did win, I forgot what awards. Um, so they end up doing like a little breakdown of it. And when they broke it down, I was like, how did I not get that from this open-ended movie? Like I'm thinking something completely different. These dudes like explained it, and they explained it like a good ending that they gave me, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm satisfied with this. But see, because they thought of it like because they're directors and whatnot. But see, like with me, I need you to tell me. I need Endgame. Snap your fingers. Okay, everybody's dead. Perfect. Etc. Ending. I'm not really. Even though I thought the movie was great up until that point, it's like, okay, now it's like I'll recommend it, but now I'm not gonna watch it again because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So,
G baby, what you think?
I think like a lot of movies like that, they want to kind of they want to like get the views ratings up. Not saying it's like a gimmick or anything, but you get it at least an open ending thing. So it's like like Zoo says, you might be thinking, I know 100% what this is about. And then it'd be completely wrong compared to somebody else. So now you go back and watch it through his lens, you could see it, and you might pick up on something else. That's cool depending on what the movie is. Like if it's like I like my closure, like A to B, don't or C, or is it D? I don't want that. Like action movies, you should always have a clear cut in. The guy should either live or die, or they're gonna fake you out when he appears at his funeral of somebody. You know, that like I need that. I don't need a shot in the vest and then it's like, oh, fade to black. Like what happened? Like I'm gonna be wondering what the hell happened with this dude. And for 6 years until you make the next one. It's like he's a soldier. I mean, what is the next one? Just kill him off, Just give me that closure. Like, oh, he died at the end of this movie.
I definitely think genre plays a part in whether or not I like an open-ended movie. Some movies obviously don't need sequels. Like some movies aren't made to have a sequel. So if you give me an open-ended movie in like a mystery, then it's like, okay, like, because now I'm gonna spend half the time trying to see if I can figure it out, and then half the time to see if maybe there's gonna be a sequel down the line that's gonna kind of bring it up. But if it's like, build up into it. But if it's like an emotional movie or like one of those like Oscar bait movies, I don't know if I want an open-ended ending, simply because it's like for those type of movies, those are usually like one of ones. So it's like I would like some type of closure, even if it's bad, even if it's not a happy ever after. Like, let me know how this is supposed to end. Now, what I will say is that a lot of times certain things are kind of like accepted truths, or kind of like you said, open to interpretation. So like something could end, and then you'll be like, so like for example, I don't know if you guys watch Euphoria, even though they're saying that they're coming out with another season, but like one thing that yeah, I don't but so say for example, this is the last season of Euphoria. I wouldn't like it simply because there are so many questions that are still unanswered within this last season. Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it for whatever reason, but like Rue gets almost like $10,000 in debt to like a drug queen pen. Then all of a sudden she gets clean within like 2 episodes later. And then it like nothing is brought up about the queen pen. Like
maybe the 3rd season.
Like she escaped from her home, but they all still live in the same relative area. Like she was able to bike to her house when she was, so it's kind of like, how are you supposed? So I'm not a huge fan of open-ended endings, like especially if these types of movies are one of ones. For like an MCU movie or something that's clearly in a connected universe, fine, because 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna get my answer down the line, even if it's a little bit later. But if you just talking about like, yeah, this is my Oscar bait movie, and I'm gonna let the audience decide, well, no, the audience don't want to decide. I need you to tell me what's going on. So 100%, I'm not a huge fan of open. It all depends on the genre. But if I had to pick, definitely give me a conclusion. Like I said, even if it's not a happy one, let me, just let me be able to sit with it.
The audience needs closure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. To lead into that was actually a really good question, Zoo. To lead into my question of the day, it's more music related. So, a lot of our favorite artists over the years have had those albums where they're clearly, just having fun, not on some experimental stuff, not to get nothing out, not to be deep. This is them just in their bag. I would say personally for Kanye, I think that would be Graduation. I think that was the one it seems like he had the most fun with, especially early on. I could be wrong. That's just my, not being a Ye stan, just from the outside looking in.
You're definitely wrong.
What do you think was his like? Pablo was his like, I'm having fun. What do you think is his like, I'm having fun album? I'm like, this is just me in my bag album.
In his bag? Yeah, Pablo.
So Pablo, okay, that's fair.
Because Graduation, he made it specifically for playing in the stadiums.
Okay.
Like a graduation. So
okay, that makes sense.
Purpose.
That makes sense. But yeah, there's a lot of artists who, obviously you have your hype artists, but like some of your artists who are like, have had projects like for years or whatever, get some of those projects that are just like fun. Most recently, J. Cole with the off season. And I actually brought this up about a month and a half ago, but there was a tweet that was circulating about whether or not Kendrick Lamar needed his like the off season album, just something where he's just having fun. He was just doing, like J. Cole said it himself, or his manager said it, that he didn't plan to tour that album. This was something just to kind of get out, because he was like, this is fun. This is cool. And then he saw the reaction and he was like, shoot, we need to capitalize. Merch needs to be sold. So I'm curious, do you guys think that Kendrick Lamar needs the off-season album where he's just back to rapping, back to having fun? Not necessarily, there could be deep songs within this album, but just like an album to kind of just get his rocks off, for lack of a better term. What do y'all think?
Oh, you just want his rapidy rap album?
I don't know if he'll even be rapidy
doing
rap.
It for fun?
Like doing it for fun. Like, do y'all think he needs that? Or like, are y'all would that be something y'all would be interested in?
His fun album would be a collab album with Baby Keem, probably.
Okay.
Because I feel like whenever they make a song together, it's just silly shenanigans that they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably going to be with him if they do decide to do a collab album, which should probably do really well, because Kendrick's going to bring all the old heads, and Baby Keem is going to bring the younger crowd.
Yeah,
they're already calling Kendrick elderly. So,
I seen that too. That was crazy.
Yeah, so that'll probably be the best way to go about it. I don't think him by himself, unless he gives you a bunch of like "I Love Myself" type songs, maybe.
Okay.
But even that has like some sort of a message. Kendrick's never been. The last time Kendrick did like a silly, goofy song was like Michael Jordan, and like it's super old when he first coming up.
Even his pop hits have like a layering of What you think, G?
I feel like usually the album that you're just having fun with, like either like the last one or like I don't know. You don't really have you almost got to defend the first one on the second one. Like the second one has to be better. But I mean, fun albums like a lot of people don't have them.
I feel like a lot of folks don't really like. Obviously, I put like this: a lot of the quote unquote conscious artists that feel like they have to have a message when they're, because I feel like Drake has had mostly fun with his last maybe 3 or 4 projects, but like a lot of the like artists that pride themselves on being conscious, I don't think they have albums besides the off season where it's just like, oh, this is just me in my bag showing y'all that I can rap better, I can put a melody together better or whatever. So I'm curious if like, I think Kendrick could really benefit from something like that, because it's like, yes, craziness is happening every day. And we're going to discuss a little bit of it to a small extent, because this is a lighthearted episode. But in general, I think, artists at the end of the day still want to enjoy what he or she is doing. Like, I feel like they don't always want to have to be the preacher. Right. And I feel like his discography could benefit from something like that. I mean, you feel me? It's been 5 years, and this was in my opinion, a tremendous amount of growth to talk about what he's been talking about, because it's been showing he's been paying attention. But it's like, man, go ahead and just unbutton the jacket a little bit.
Some people, I think it's not that thing.
Yeah, it could only be with Kendrick. I feel like he could give us a mixtape 5 songs of silly shenanigans. I think that's all people will tolerate from Kendrick, because he's already established that he's going to give you, whenever he's going to drop, it's going to be some super
thought-provoking,
something deep. Yeah, even like his features, like when he had the features with Travis Scott, the features with Kanye, like he'll still throw in like things that make you think. Even his like his earlier ciphers were just, he was just rapping just to rap with no real meaning. But even now, like, the hearts, they all have some deep meaning. So he's always been like that. So I think like with him, since people already expect him to be like that, and since he's already getting away from, like we said, the younger kids are already calling him old, if he tries to do something silly, I feel like he'll push away the people who are already holding on to like a higher standard. And then I feel like the young kids, unless it's like he does a song with like whoever's coming up, I don't know, any of these young kid rappers, like a Nardo Wick or something. Unless he's doing a song with them, the young kids, I feel like, aren't really gonna care or like play it in the whip. So I feel like for him, it would just backfire. J. Cole's always been aimed for college students.
Yeah.
So like
he's always been the best balance for sure.
I feel like 18 and 19-year-olds are still into anything that J. Cole put out, while they probably don't feel the same way about Kendrick, because they don't relate to any of this last album. They probably don't relate to anything he said, except maybe like Father Time and the one about his mom. That'd probably be about it, because none of them are married. None of them, well, I want to say none of them, but majority of them aren't married. Majority of them don't have kids. Majority of them don't have wives.
Yeah, true.
So
any final thoughts on that, G baby?
No, I mean, I feel like it's just something. Usually, if you do it, it's gonna be your pop album, like kind of like Stank on You. It sounds like, oh, we're just gonna have some fun on this one.
Okay.
It still turns out to be great. You don't necessarily need it, especially because it seems a little gimmicky at first. Like, especially like with Kendrick being so established, and that's why they looked at Kanye the way he did. Like when he was doing the swoop, scoopity, stoop, whoop stuff. Like, all right, bro. Like we didn't heard you be legendary and you trying to do this now, like you wasting time. We don't hear from you all the time and you wasting time. That's why you get a little perturbed with that, but I don't think it's necessary.
Okay. Fire Nation, let us know what you think. Does Kendrick need like his quote unquote off-season album or something to kind of just have fun with? What's next on the docket, my boy?
Let me bring that up. I lost it. Sorry. Technical difficulty.
Actually, I know the wrestling one. Zoo,
Oh.
wrestling is at probably its highest peak it's been since the early 2000s in regards to just like how everybody is talking about it now. Like I'm seeing more and more people discussing storylines, discussing characters they like, discussing people that they may have rather had seen. I've seen a lot of slander for The Rock recently over because I think because of how popular WrestleMania and stuff has gotten it within the last few years, especially bouncing back off of the pandemic where they were just like throwing each other around in empty rooms and you was hearing all of the stomps and everything. So what do you address a lot of this recent like resurgence of success to, and then how high do you think it can go?
So I think it's helping out with the whole celebrities that they've been bringing in, because the majority of the time when wrestling would always bring in celebrity wrestlers, none of them really took it serious, because the whole wrestling's fake, so like they'd put like extra shenanigans on it. They didn't really take it serious. They didn't actually practice wrestling. They would just show up like they're gonna film a TV show, and like it would like the actual matches, like even if they only participated for like a couple moves, they look like shit. But like with the three new celebrities that they've been using a lot, which is Logan Paul, Pat McAfee, and Bad Bunny, all of them trained. I think Bad Bunny trained with Shawn Michaels. Pat McAfee trained with this guy. He's Rick Rogers. He's like a wrestler from like the 60s or 70s, whatever. But like he's trained everybody basically. And same thing with Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul trained with Shawn Michaels too. So it's like they got good training. They took it serious. Like Bad Bunny stopped, like worked his tour around this. Same thing with Pat McAfee. Like he'll take a break from his podcast. He'll like film off location for this and et cetera, et cetera. Same thing with Logan. So I feel like that helps because Pat McAfee brings all the sports fans that like may make fun of wrestling. Bad Bunny brings all the music fans, and Logan Paul brings all his fan base that like also probably won't take wrestling serious, but it's like, oh, my favorite artist is here right now. And then because of them, it's like I already paid the pay-per-view so I could watch it. Might as well watch the whole thing. And then that's when they've been capitalizing with like some other storylines that they have, like the Roman Reigns stuff. He's huge right now. Rey Mysterio's son is fucking massive, which is crazy because people hated him at first, but not like hated him like right now that like you're supposed to hate him, because they hated him when he was a good guy because they're like, this guy's just here because he's Rey Mysterio's son. But he's like shit. But now that he's like a bad guy or whatever, he's really, really good. He's really good at being a bad guy, which is crazy because I feel like Rey Mysterio has always been the ultimate good guy. And like probably I would say top 5, top 10 greatest good guys of all time. And his son has like the potential to be like top 5, top 10 greatest bad guys of all time, because they legitimately hate this kid. Not even just hate like because they don't like him, but like hate because like they're supposed to hate him. And that's hard in wrestling to do now because everyone knows it's scripted. So a lot of times the bad guys get cheered. If you watch any wrestling show, bad guys are always getting cheered because they know it's fake. It's like, oh, okay, well, the bad guy's usually a funny guy or doing some extra things that make you go, oh, so we're gonna cheer him.
Dylan
but like
Brooks.
but yeah, he's like they legitimately hate this kid, and he's really good at being hated. Like they did a couple of shows in Puerto Rico. He went. I'm happy he speaks fluent Spanish, which helps him out because like he'll cut a promo in full Spanish, like in Puerto Rico, and so I think that's what's been helping him a lot. If they could continue capitalizing, like I said, when they have Bad Bunny and they have Logan Paul and they have Pat McAfee, where they're gonna get extra eyes on, and if they could capitalize and make sure those shows specifically, and maybe like the next week and the next 2 weeks of shows are good, that's what makes people stick around, because it's like a soap opera. Now I'm interested in said storyline. Now I got to keep watching. If they could continue doing that, it'll be good for them. If they can't though, then it's tough nuggets. Like AEW kind of went down.
Yeah, I heard they kind of like they lost a lot of steam, but I think didn't that have a lot to do with CM Punk leaving as well?
He's always something.
He's always somewhere else.
Yeah. He's they got into a whole beef or whatever. So like when CM Punk was there, they were getting like 1.5 million viewers a show.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he's gone, they're like struggling to hit the million. They're more like 800,000, 900,000. So it's like it's one of those, and
not
like
gonna
they didn't
sustain
really
you.
capitalize. Like I said, when he was there, people were watching, and they didn't really they capitalized on a couple wrestlers, but not enough for I think the general, like the casual fan that will stick around. Not enough for them to stick around after he left.
That's dope. That's dope that there's something else, you know, scripted or not, that like the masses can just sit and watch. Because I've never seen so many people talk about wrestling at once. Obviously, when we were shorty, social media wasn't a thing, but just to know like how many people are actually like paying attention during like prime time hours when other stuff is on, and you know, you watching.
You go to wrestling. That's
interesting. Like it's just like, oh, okay, this is like people are really like committed to this.
You know, a character, like you really know the shit. Yeah,
like they know the actual terminology. Like, yeah, so and so is a great heel. Took me forever to actually know what a heel was. I was like, what is niggas talking about? Like, what do you mean?
Like, this nigga great at throwing knees at people.
Like, what does that even mean? But no, it's dope though. It's dope to see that. I think what else was it on the lost my.
We could talk. Well, you talking about a different docket subject?
Yeah, on the docket.
We could keep going with that immigration stuff.
Yes, so
niggas just got left.
Yeah, so Florida, thanks to DeSantis, he basically passed like a no illegal or undocumented immigration law, which wouldn't allow them to work. And I talked to my cousin. My cousin currently lives in Tallahassee, Florida. And he was raised more or less in Jacksonville. He said it. He was like, bro, Florida in general is 90% immigrants, give or take. Like he was like the amount, like, yeah, you see like maybe the black athletes make it to the league and stuff, but he was like, it is not that many black people. He was like, it's mostly immigrants and white folks take up Florida. And he was saying like the immigrants are doing all of the manual labor jobs. All of these jobs that when growing up in like maybe the 80s or the 90s, people was telling their kids, oh, well, if you get a good degree, you won't have to be like him who's doing the trash or who's fixing our roof and stuff like that. So now it's biting them in the backside because now we have the great migration that brought our family from Mississippi to Chicago. They basically doing the same thing, but going from like Florida to the East Coast, Florida to Cali, Florida up here to Chicago. They're getting up out of there, bro. My cousin said he was driving. He had went to Orlando, like I think he said like a week and a half ago, and I guess apparently Orlando's like always doing some type of construction on the streets. He was like, it was like a ghost town out there. He was like, it was just machines out there and nobody was working them. And he made a joke.
Whole workforce.
Yeah, they you basically drove away the whole workforce. You got to think, sad to say, but realistically, you are already probably severely underpaying these workers because they were undocumented. And if they spoke up, oh, well, I'll just get somebody else to do it. And I think one thing that people are underestimating is that undocumented immigrants don't just come from Mexico. They don't just come from Cuba. You got the whole Caribbean islands running around in Florida as well. My cousin was saying there's so many Haitian people that just basically just live in Florida. He's like, you can't walk 5 blocks without seeing 5 Haitians. Like it's just one of those things. And there's so many businesses are getting screwed. This was not a good business plan. Look, people go to Florida to retire.
Right.
You're gonna have to get people from the East Coast to drive down to do this extra work, and you're probably gonna have to pay them more because now they're traveling. Racism just doesn't work sometimes, and I'm happy it didn't. It's like, no, we're not gonna build this golf course, Martha. Why don't you get your son to come out here and do it? Julio and them been doing it in 15 minutes or less for the last 50 years. And you got the nerve.
Now y'all want to get rid of them.
Now y'all want to get rid of them? Go ahead and do that work. Don't catch a splinter.
Wear your gloves, people.
Please wear your gloves and your helmets. And make sure you pack you a cold drink. What you thinking? What you think about it, G?
I mean, yeah, it's just you wrote a check that your mouth could, that your ass couldn't cash, essentially. I mean, how you say, you make this law knowing that you employ undocumented, illegal, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why would you even put this into like your whole workforce is gone, or at least half of it? Like, that's stupid. Now you're gonna be struggling, like legit. You got to scramble, and that's not a good thing. What is he like, the senator or some shit?
The governor, but he may be I generally don't know, but they say
That's
whenever
a stupid decision.
they said no. My cousin literally said like he's like the downfall of Florida right now, but because they're so Republican, that's why he's back in office. It's just like they don't do nothing right when
Right.
he just can't do anything right. Zoo, you got any thoughts on it?
I saw the videos. They're kind of insane. I mean, obviously now it's just they're gonna play chicken. It depends who's gonna back down first. Like, are the people gonna need bread first? Like, they're gonna need money first, or is the government?
You lagging a little bit. That boy had to get to Target.
Yeah, they can always. The government can always finagle around money. Like, they could cut tax breaks on themselves. I'm assuming.
Right.
You know, there's ways around it to where they may be able to hold off a little bit more. You know, because I mean, we've always been in recessions, like as a federal government.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure, even though the Florida might lose money and etc. I mean, they always end up bouncing back.
Yeah.
Like, at least federally. So it's just going to be a game of chicken. Like, who's willing to lose more money?
Yeah.
And obviously, when like the federal government's money is being hurt, the politicians are still making their bread.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're okay. It's not really them being effective, except like maybe they won't get elected again or something along those lines.
It's like a people versus the office kind of thing.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the people are the one who are going to be losing the money and not eating, or maybe, you know, having to live off more frugally.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just going to be a game. I mean, well, you don't go to work for a week, now you get paid, and now you're making half because you only work 1 week.
Yeah.
And now it's like, damn, well, that mortgage bill is still going to hit me because the bank doesn't care. The bank's federal, not the actual government, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, it's just going to be chicken. But, I mean, it's crazy to show how, yeah, like, because you saw all the videos on TikTok, like, nobody's at work, really.
Nobody's at work, bro. It like, no, bro. It's just like he said it's like a ghost town. He said my cousin was like, yeah, in a few years, this place is gonna be made of sand, essentially, if they can't figure it out. And it's and I don't know how true this part. I saw a video talking about it. I don't want to use it as fact, but they were saying that one of the reasons they think DeSantis passed this law was so that he could keep workers in prison, essentially doing like the cheap labor, the basically free labor, essentially. And this was kind of like, I guess, the workaround of that, so he could keep using prison labor to help, I don't know, make Nike fit or something. I don't know. So it's just one of those things where it's disappointing, but I do commend those who are strong enough to get up and move to be able to do that, because it's not like it's the summer. Folks is gonna need people out there to work. In Chicago, you go to the nearest Home Depot, you got 12 people ready to work tonight on whatever you need. So it's like it's not gonna be impossible to find work. It's unfortunate that they had to do that. First of all, being an undocumented, I can't speak from experience, but obviously knowing people who are, it's already a tough enough experience just having to deal with like the extra steps to get basic, you know, human necessities. So like now to have a whole government basically say, F y'all just not gonna work. But to be able to be like, no, all right, then we'll go up north or we'll go wherever we gotta go. I gotta commend them for that. So I hope everything works out in their favor, because, you know, it's just disheartening to see that you just like continuing to stamp on the little guy. You already make it hard enough for them to become quote unquote legal, and then you like, well, yeah, you can't work while you in that process either. It's like, nah, bro, y'all can have that.
Yeah, y'all just trying to be bogus to the people now.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like everybody has their fight.
Yeah. So,
you know, so I'm glad they unionized and, you know, kind of agreed on it. But
yeah,
I know how it is to miss a check.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of unions, actually, I can bleed into the next thing. The writers strike, y'all. The writers are striking across the board. So a couple quick details before we hop into this specifically. I've spoken with some people who work behind cameras, and I've seen a lot of writers speak about this, like on TikTok or Twitter or whatever. Essentially, the writers have not seen a pay bump since the last time they strike in like 2007, 2008.
Oh yeah.
So they have like their money has not gone up proportionally due to streaming, due to movies, due to special effects and all of that type of stuff. These companies are seeing billions and billions worth of an increase, and the writers are seeing Nathaniel. And I think all they're asking for is like a 3% bump or something. And they're fighting tooth and nail to not give the writers what they want. And so essentially, obviously, they strike or struck, whatever the term for that would be. And it's sad because it's like, bro, because of AI now, we got these companies thinking, oh, we'll just have somebody fill in the script based off of somebody else's writing prose. Okay, so what is that gonna do when they need to make an on-set change to the script? When you got 15 hours worth of set time, and all of a sudden something new has occurred, and you're like, you know what, this would fit better. Now you got to go to the AI. You got to go to the AI and just hope that it can just put together something proper. It's
a dead script. It ain't got no emotion to it.
It has nothing to it. And I don't remember TV really that well in 07 to know like it was a big drop off. But they say like if you binge shows from the early to mid 2000s, you can tell when the writer's strike hit.
Because that's when reality TV took off.
That's what. So I don't know how long this is gonna go on. One of the camera ladies I spoke with, she basically said she knows that eventually that the companies are gonna fold because you're not just gonna not use your writers. Like it's just just not gonna not do that. And what's happening now is that you got actors who are also fighting along with it. And like, no, you're not gonna force me to work with this bogus script that you just came up with on the fly. No, this is not happening. So I'm just curious. And I think what else happened? I think it was, I want to say it was Game of Thrones. It was either Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings. They said, oh, we'll be fine because our script was made before the strike, which leads back to, well, what if something changes and you need to make a change in this script? And you just, all you got is a director and somebody to take photographs, hoping that they can come up with something that's cohesive within this. You're going to have to stick to this script by the book. You can't make any changes.
Right.
And if something no longer fits, now it's an awkward moment within the show. So it's very, once again, disheartening that people think they can just, roll over people like that. Like writers don't get residuals from streaming. So like everything going to streaming now is screwing them over. Yeah, I'm an Emmy Award winner. Yeah, millions of people are watching the show that I help write, but I'm not seeing no money off of that. I don't have a livable wage.
Right. I'm still struggling writing $1 million shows.
Like, come on, bro. Like, yeah, I dress up nice for the Emmys. It looked good it looked good when I show up with the trophy. Like, yeah. And I'm going right back home hoping that I'm gonna have the lights on. Like, nah, bro. You can't do people like that. You can't do folks like that, man.
It's crazy how like people don't have, you sign your likeness in a way, like your whole, basically not selling your soul, but I mean basically a form of that where you
in a certain way for sure. In a certain way for sure.
Because I know I probably get annoyed, but I listened to that podcast with the Old Boy Meets Worldcast or whatever, and they're like, we go into Hot Topic and like half their like wardrobe is like our faces on there. And it's like we don't see a single dime or penny from this.
Nope.
And it's like they've been selling these like, because like they're like, well, the show was going on, they didn't sell any merch like for our show because obviously we'd have to be getting paid at that point. But now that like it's been 30 years almost since the show came out, now it's like they could sell it without having to pay them because they signed away their likeness, etc. Or like when 50 Cent posted that one picture of himself. And the photographer was like, yeah, bro, can you take that down? It's like, what? A picture of me.
Yeah.
So
Drake and Josh was on a podcast and he doesn't even get streaming checks. He gets no residuals from Drake and Josh. One of the greatest Nickelodeon programs of all time. He doesn't see a sense of that. So he has to keep working. He has to keep doing whatever he has to do. And then it's like, I think what bothers me the most about stuff like this is that you'll still ask them to pop up to all the reunion stuff. You'll ask them to pop up for like, so like say Jimmy Kimmel does a say Jimmy Kimmel does like a Boy Meets World sketch to open up his show. You're gonna ask all of these actors to come back and play their characters, this, that, and the third. And obviously, once they do that, oh man, let me go watch Boy Meets World. And they get X amount, but I'm not getting paid none of this. Which is probably why they have to do the podcast, because it's like, if work for them individually has slowed down, now it's like, well, it's time to reach back into the past, and they at least can't touch this money.
Right.
You feel me? So this is ours. It sucks that they got to do that. And you would just hope that, and you know, it's capitalism, but you would hope to a certain extent that it's like, okay, you made me billions of dollars. I'm gonna at least make sure you won't go hungry. At the very least.
That's too much.
I feel like that's not asking too much. Because
too much.
think about how many actors, actresses, singers, whatever, after they like first major hit TV show, it's very rare that they get multiple hit TV shows after that. Like Cedric the Entertainer is an anomaly. He got the Steve Harvey show. He did his own little sketch show. Now he's got a show that's been going on for like 6-7 seasons. He can still tour. Like, that's a blessing. Don't everybody get that? Yeah. And it's like you. It's like why?
Yeah.
Like, why do people like this?
Like I said, from listening to this podcast, they explain a lot. The actors, they like for a TV show, they signed the contract before the pilot's even filmed, before the show's even picked up.
Yep.
So it's like you already signed everything away. You already agreed to where you're going to get paid. And if the show gets picked up and you get a season, then and it flops, okay, cool, I got my bread. But if it's like this huge success, now we're on season 10.
Yeah.
I'm still getting paid from when I was like 10 years ago.
When I was a nobody. Like the only people that I know for a fact that have succeeded in their negotiation is the cast from Friends. I don't watch Friends, but to my knowledge, I think when but no, even, I mean, shoot, like you said, with Boy Meets World, like that was basically an all-white cast. But apparently for Friends, I don't know how completely accurate this is, but they wanted to, I think, just make Jennifer Aniston the highest paid, like once it was time to re-up their contracts. And essentially they went in as a team and was like, no, you're gonna pay all of us X amount. I think it's like $1 million an episode or something. Yeah, and now they lucked out. I don't know if it's through NBC or what, but they still get residuals based off of everybody and their mama streaming their shows. So it's kind of like you do it for the ones you want to do it for. Right. And it's like you look at like Abbott Elementary. One thing that pissed me off about this is that somebody tweeted Quinta Brunson and was like, yeah, you need to do something. Like, what are you gonna do? And she's like, you know, I'm also a writer on this. Like, right. I don't like, the picket line. Like, come on, like, no, I'm also striking because I need to be getting a fair wage for writing an Emmy hit show. Excuse me, like, what are we talking about here? So it's one of those things. I definitely hope everything is worked out. I'm looking forward to writers more and more, one standing up for themselves, two getting paid. And then hopefully we get great programs here continue. I'm afraid to see what might get canceled as a result of this writer strike, because say you have a show that was like on like the fringe, like maybe they like 4 seasons in, and 5 was like, it could be the end or it could continue. And then the strike hit and it's like, oh, this was a down year. Yeah, and the studio doesn't chalk it up to, oh, well, the strike did happen. It's like, oh, this is losing us money now. It's time to go. And that's, in and out the door. It's just that quick. It's a cold world. Man.
Especially for them writers, all of them, really. At least the actors, it's a little bit more hit or miss. You can go off looks. The writers, like, that pen ain't right.
It's
like, you probably,
time to go. It is time to go. But before we get out of here, I think we got at least one more thing. So it's I guess a serious topic, but it was kind of funny to me. So the Met Gala happened last week, right? Right. And it was a lot of white people there, per you, but this was like an excessive amount of white people was at this Met Gala. And so I think it was the Rory and Maul podcast. One of their co-hosts got essentially upset that Ice Spice was invited to the Met Gala, and essentially basically said it's because she's light-skinned. And I guess tried to blame, she almost made it seem like it was her fault for being there.
For
Like,
being
how
light
dare you
skinned.
be born light skinned and then accept this invite? And
Everybody got the choice.
yeah,
You made it.
my point of view is this, and I want to get you guys. I actually talked about it in the chat. Does colorism exist? Yes. Does she benefit based off her colorism? Probably. There's a good chance of that. However, none of this is her fault. She is hot right now. She's very marketable. She knows what she's doing, or at least her team knows what she's doing and how to market her. So whether you want to say, oh, she's only there because she twerks and she's light-skinned, whatever. Like, that's not her fault. She's doing what she needs to do to make her money. And somebody decided, hey, I'm going to hook you up with a dress. I want you to walk this Met Gala. She's supposed to say no because they didn't have the wherewithal to invite a broader range of people. That's not her fault. You can't put that on a 22-year-old. Oh, you supposed to know, but no, what are we talking about here? And I think it's lazy, personally. I think old girl was hating, but because of these hot words you can use now, oh, colorism or this or that, or anti-dark skin and anti-black and all of that, you can throw that around and then make the Met Gala look racist. The Met Gala might be racist, but none of this is Ice Spice's fault. Don't try to turn this on her. That was my thing. What did y'all think about it?
I mean, she's the hottest thing out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I would like you at my party. Shay was there. This nigga been famous for a season, and he got an invite there. Like, come on now, like, you hot right now. That's why it don't matter if you was purple or black. Like, you popping. Of course, we want you visually. People are gonna share this picture of you in this nice ass dress. It's all a capitalism thing. It's all capitalism. I'm not knocking it, but don't turn it into something like, of course, colorism exists. I mean, but that's not what that is. I wanted the populist female artist right now at my party.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna get her dressed and do everything and come in. She just gotta show up.
Yep.
I'm not gonna say no.
None of this is my fault as an artist that I got invited. Zoo, you even said it yourself. As popular as the Kardashians have been, Kim didn't get invited until like 2 years into marrying Kanye or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because Kanye was already in the fashion industry. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it's like she's gonna get in. She's not gonna ruin her money up just because she feels bad for somebody else.
Like,
or like, I think you had said in the chat, like, what is she supposed to do? Just give her spot up to someone else? Be like Macklemore, and be like, oh no, I didn't deserve this Grammy. This is for Kendrick. I didn't deserve this spot. This is for so and so, who Ari Lennox or something.
Yeah.
You know, they're not gonna do that.
Then it becomes pandering, and then it's like, oh, you ungrateful. Now she's blackballed from every major event because everybody talks to each other.
Bro, not to cut you off.
What happened?
But this car's parked like right in front of me. She's like, we're going in Target. Why is she putting on lipstick?
It's just boyfriend working the register.
Probably. Well, okay, go ahead.
But no, it's just one of those things where it's just kind of like, none of this is her fault. And I never. So yes, I'm aware enough to know that sexism, ageism, whatever, all them isms exist. I can acknowledge that. However, if for whatever reason I'm picked for something, and I know the amount, it'd be different if I wasn't putting no work in. If if I got famous off for, like, let's say trolling people or whatever, and then I get invited to the Grammys for something, like, that's kind of weird. Like, okay, but if I'm putting in the hours to put music out, the stuff you don't see, forget the end product, the stuff you don't see, and I got a team that's helping market me and help me put my stuff and help me do all of this, and you got the nerve to say, oh, you only made it because of this X, Y, and Z, you should have gave it to her, or you should have gave it to him. For what? We both working hard. Like, it would even be different. Like, let's say I bleached my skin or something, and now I'm benefiting off of that. No, I did what I had to do to get to my to get to my status. I'm not about to turn down my blessings,
right?
Because I'm guilty.
I was born like this.
Like what are we talking about, bro? Like, it would be different if they went out of their way for whatever reason to say, no, we're not gonna invite, like you said, Ari Lennox, or no, we're not gonna invite those Africans or those Mexicans. Then and they said it out loud or so it got leaked or something, and maybe even then, but like you would have a better argument then. But just somebody emailing her team, hey, we like your style. We would like for you to wear our dress. Nah, bro. Go on somewhere.
That's not how that works.
That's not how that works. Y'all can have that argument. Colorism is a thing, and she may have benefited from it, but she shouldn't have to turn that down because of it. Like, that's not her fault. You want to tan some more? Like, what? Like, will that help you accept it if she's a little bit dark? Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, what are we even talking about here? But yeah, man, that has been the episode, a great episode. It is good to be back. We will really work on being more consistent when we get our schedules right. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please make sure you hit us up at friendly_Fiya on IG and friendly Fiya at TikTok. Once again, friendly_Fiya on IG and friendly Fiya on TikTok. Artists, if you have music, if you have artwork that you want to share, we will purchase it. We will play it at the end of our podcast. Just email friendlyfiya2021@gmail.com. Once again, friendlyfiya2021@gmail.com. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. On behalf of my brothers, I am Rico, G Baby, Zoo, Friendly Fiya. Be blessed.
Peace.
Yeah.